What's happening, guys? It's Cooper Carter here for G66, and on this week's Fractal Friday, I'm going to show you just how easy it is to run multiple guitarists into one Fractal unit. One of the questions I get most often is, how do I run multiple players into one Fractal unit? Now, this isn't something that I get a lot in the pro space and touring, because usually everyone has their own unit, but my suspicion is this is something that's really popular with people who are just sitting around jamming. And in fact, I keep a cable here plugged into the second input of my XFX3 on the back in the rack there, just for that, for guys who come over and my friends and I jam, sometimes bass and guitar, sometimes two guitars. I'm going to show you just how easy that is to set up. Okay, so I'm going to start off here with a pretty standard preset: input 1, drive, amp, cab, delay, reverb, output 1. And that's going to be my primary line, so think of it as your first player. And all I need to do to add a second player is first off make sure that under setup, audio, my input 2 is set to left only, because we're only going to be plugging a second guitar into the left side of that input. And all I need to do to get that player going is add an input 2 block, shunt this all the way over, and connect it to output 1. For the purposes of this demo, I'm going to be using output 1 for both players so that we hear this all through the same speakers. But you could, of course, add an output 2 block and send your second player to an entirely separate output. So you might have a different set of speakers you want to use for that player. And if your second player is a bassist, you might already be done. Maybe add a little bit of drive. Possibly some EQ. And you're ready to rock and roll. Or if you like your bass with an amp and a cab, or your second player is a guitarist, you can simply add another amplifier block, another cabinet block, turn off our bass EQ, and maybe our drive, give this second player a little bit of reverb, and we've got a second guitar ready to go. Now, if you are going to run both players through output 1, once you start playing together, you may want to make some adjustments to the level parameters of each of your amps so that you don't clip the output when you're both playing. But of course, if you're going to be using separate outputs, you can use the physical knobs on the front of your unit to adjust the level of each player. So that's the XFX3 and the FM9, but what about the FM3, which only has one amplifier block and one cabinet block? Well, if your second player is a bassist, you're already set: input 2, output 2, direct signal, add some effects if you want. But if your second player is a guitarist, you need to get a little bit creative, and here's just one method that I like and I've had some pretty good results with. So again, making sure that under setup, audio, you have your input 2 set to left only mode. We'll go ahead and sculpt a tone for a second guitar. Now again, I am running my second guitar into input 2, but we're running out of output 1, so it's all coming through the same speakers here. Now what I'm going to do is just add a drive pedal to this second line here, and I'm going to select the Boxo Crunch type, which is based on the MI Audio Crunch Box, which is a distortion pedal designed to give you the tone of a Marshall in a box. So right out of the box, so to speak, we've got this, which has got a lot of the feel and the qualities of a Marshall. So we can take it even further with a little trick that I showed you guys back in Fractal Friday number 19. I'm going to add a filter block here. I'm going to set the type to low pass. I'm going to set the order to 4th, and then the frequency to 5K. I'm going to set the high cut to 5K and the low cut to about 70 Hertz. And now what we've done is essentially created a cab block out of a filter, and we get this tone. Of course, we can always adjust this a little bit. I might want a little more high end, and we can use this drive pedal's graphic EQ and tone page to dial in the tone even further. Now again, since this is the FM3, we don't have another reverb to give this second player. So what you might want to do is jump up to this line here and now you've got reverb in this second line. So there you have it. It's very straightforward to run multiple players through any Fractal Audio Systems unit. And in fact, on the Axe 3, you could expand this a little bit, given that it has 4 inputs and 4 outputs, to run an entire band through it. And in fact, in my masterclass, I build out a preset where there's 2 guitarists, a bassist, and a singer, or you could change it to be a guitarist, a bassist, a keyboard, and a singer. Really, the possibilities are endless, as they so often are in Fractal land. Do make sure to download these presets from the Axe Change at the link in the description below this video. And as always, for all things Fractal Audio Systems, keep it right here on G66. Make sure to subscribe to their channel, thumbs up this video, and leave me a comment letting me know what you'd like to see on a future Fractal Friday. And as always, if you guys would like to get even more out of your Fractal Audio Systems unit, whether that's the Axe 3, the FM9, or the FM3, make sure to visit classes.coopercarter.com for my complete Fractal Audio Masterclass series. I hope you guys found this useful, and I will see you next week on Fractal Friday.